Hey y'all, so I got a ton of questions on my last vlog, the one where I went to Paris with my son. I was not expecting so many people to be that intrigued about our language learning, language immersion story, but I wanted to come and answer some questions, clear some things up, and just go into how it all came about. So I figured we could do that while I make my lunch. Today I'm going to be making some homemade lentil, well, I can't really, there's lentils in there. I'm making homemade lentil soup, and while I do that, we will discuss and talk all about our language learning journey thus far. So let's go ahead and get into it. So one of the main questions I got is, how did my son learn French, and how did his accent get so good when we have never left America? So if you have not seen the vlog that I'm referring to, go ahead and watch it. I'll link it below. And it's funny because someone had commented that it was pretty much impossible that he had learned French and he speaks it so well with like a French accent, and he's never been to France or been to another French-speaking country. And the way that I got my son to get to the level that he is in French with his pronunciation, with his reading, is I enrolled him in a bilingual school. So he started at the school when he was 3 years old, and he went for 3 years. So from ages 3 to 6, he was in a French bilingual school, and literally I feel like it was the best investment ever. I think starting him at age 3 was the perfect time, because that's when kids are just getting able to express themselves in any language that they're speaking. And I definitely knew that I wanted him to learn French and French sounds and how things are supposed to go and how the language is supposed to flow from native French speakers. I didn't want him to learn it from me with my Americanized accent. I literally sound like an American just speaking French. And I wanted him to get an authentic as possible immersion experience. So that was a really good way, in my opinion, to go about it. I have zero regrets. It was so good for him. And someone else had asked me, how did I motivate him to want to learn French? It was by osmosis. So when he was in the school, it wasn't like I was putting him in a separate class or putting him in tutoring or something outside of his natural regular schedule, whereas though it felt like it was, oh, I have to learn this language. It was, he was just going to school, going to class, he made friends, his teacher spoke French, and it was a natural part of his day. So it didn't feel like work to him. It didn't feel like it was something that was just an extra burden, if you get what I'm saying. So it just made it more natural. And by, I would say, within 4 months of him being at that school, he was able to read, write, and speak. He was able to start doing those 3 things in French. It started so fast. So again, starting him at that age was just perfect. It was absolutely perfect. And that is how he's able to speak French with a French-esque accent. Like, he gets compliments so much on his accent. His pronunciation is on point, and I credit that to him being in that immersive environment. Now, he doesn't go to that school anymore. He stopped going there last school year. He's in a different school this year, but and it is not a bilingual school. And the way we are planning on maintaining his level, actually not just maintaining it, increasing his level in French and improving his fluency, is just incorporating French into our everyday lives, as well as doing immersive activities with him. I've tried to do tutoring, like online tutoring. He does not like that at all. It feels to him too much like schoolwork. It feels too much like a chore for him to sit at a computer and talk to someone. It doesn't feel natural to him. So I realized that's not a good way for him to learn. So what I do is I do speak French to him at home. Also, every day when we are driving to school, I will either play French music and we'll sing along with it, or I will put on a French show and let him watch it while we're driving. And so that's another way, like, he gets his daily French in, and there will be words come up and he doesn't understand them and he'll ask me about them, and so we'll look them up and things like that. So I'm just keeping it in the forefront, keeping it a part of his daily life. I also periodically sign him up for French speaking activities. Like if you just search, you can usually find things, especially if you live in a major city. Now, if you're living somewhere that's kind of off the beaten path, you don't have a lot of resources, this might not apply to you. But if you live in a major city, you can usually find cultural activities for kids, or just different types of things, different groups you can join that that relate to the language that you are looking to learn, especially if it's a major, one of the top 10 major languages spoken worldwide. In my city, whenever I come across some type of activity that is French speaking that I can sign him up for, I do that. So in a couple weeks, we have this thing coming up. It's like a creative, artsy, they're doing like arts and crafts type of construction, and my son loves building things, he loves making things, he loves doing experiments. So I signed him up for this class that is going to be conducted completely in French, and I think he's going to love it. I think he's going to love it, and it's another way that he can get that experience and that exposure and just keep his French levels up. And then of course also traveling to French countries. We just went to Paris, which was amazing, and we plan to continue to travel and go to different places. That's what we are doing right now to maintain his French, and so we don't lose the progress that we've made by having him in a bilingual school. And yeah, so far so good. It has been going amazingly, and I think the older that he gets, he realizes just how much of a benefit it is for him to be not just monolingual, but to be bilingual, to have other languages under his belt. Like my son, he's kind of a ham. He's a showman. He loves to he loves to impress people. For him, I think he's starting to realize like, hey, not everyone around me can do this. People that live in my area, people that live in my country, they don't usually speak multiple languages, and so I think now he's understanding that makes him even more unique and makes him even more special. So yeah, he loves it. He is having a ball with it, and it's been going so well. And some people want to know why French. Why did I choose French to learn? I've even gotten some questions about whether I have French ancestry, if I have like a French background somewhere in my lineage. And the answer to that is no, I don't have any French ancestry that I'm aware of. And the reason why I chose French specifically to learn and to teach my son, it goes way back. It's kind of like a long story, but to make a long story short, basically when I started making enough money whereas though I could travel, I started loving travel. I love going to different places, seeing how people do certain things in other parts of the world. And I went to Paris years and years ago, and I absolutely fell in love with the city. And then after I came home from that trip, I got the bright idea to learn another language. It just hit me. I was like, why don't I just learn French? And I decided to learn French because I had a little bit of French knowledge, because usually in American schools, in public school, you take electives and you do second languages and things like that. So you get language classes in school. And I took French for 2 years I think I had 2 French classes in high school, and I had 2 French classes in college. I took the French classes in college because I had already taken French in high school, and I figured why not? Because usually stuff like that is required, so I figured I would just build on what I already knew. But realistically, when I tell y'all I knew very, very little French coming out of those 4 classes, I knew my ABCs, I knew my 1, 2, 3s, I knew how to count like up to maybe 20. I knew the basic sounds of French, and the only other thing I remember learning from my French classes is this short song from high school. I really don't remember learning anything new in my college classes. It was like a cakewalk. It was basically a joke. Those language classes in school, they were such a joke. You don't come out of those usually being fluent or knowing much. You basically just know how to say, my name is, and count to 10. But anyway, after I had gone to Paris, and I'm always like looking for a challenge, and I was like, I already have this French knowledge, well, like kind of a French base Why don't I build upon that and become fluent in another language? That would be so dope. Pretty much, I was fascinated when I went to other countries and I would realize that so many people spoke several languages, and then I would come back home and realize most Americans only speak English. I just thought it was so cool to be able to communicate with a bunch of different people, and I wanted to be someone who could do that. So that's what started my French language journey. I started on like Duolingo, I think, and I did that, but then it was like so easy after a while. I stopped doing that. I looked into a bunch of different programs like Rosetta Stone, Pimsleur. I got these CDs. Also, it's like an audio course that I did. I didn't even finish it. It was like so many things that I tried that worked okay, but then I wouldn't stick to it. I started doing in-person tutoring, and I had a tutor for a couple years, and with my tutor, we worked with a course called French in Action, which is basically like a course. I believe they have it on YouTube. If not on YouTube, I believe they have it on the PBS website, if I'm not mistaken. But that course actually was really, really good. It showed you everyday French, and the characters, like it was actually, they were acting out the things, and they would do like a recap at the end of each episode. It's really, really good. So if you guys are interested in learning French and you're kind of in the beginner stages, look into French in Action. I recommend that. It's really old though. I think it was made in maybe the early 90s or the late 80s. It's kind of old, but it's actually really good. And I got into the story of Robert and Mireille. And then I started listening to French music. I got into Stromae a lot. I still do love Stromae. This is the song that I've been playing on repeat the last couple days. Hold on, let me get it. Pourquoi ce sombre qui passe sur le payer pour le faire à ceux qui n'en ont pas? So yeah, y'all, I would learn new French songs. I would read things in French. I got a couple of easy-ish French books to read. Oh, I also took a class in Paris. I went to Paris for a summer. I can't remember what year this was, but I want to say it was, woo, child, maybe like 2017-ish, 2016, 17. So it's been a really long time. I took a French class in Paris, and that was really good. But over the years, like sometimes I would go really hard in French, other times I would slack off and life would happen and I would kind of forget some of my French. So it's been like an up and down. Hold on, what was I saying? It's like, yeah, it's been like a roller coaster of up and down. Sometimes I am on it for months at a time. Other times I'll slack off and I will kind of drop it to the wayside. And so at this point, I really should be fluent myself, but I'm not, because I have not stuck with it consistently on a day-to-day basis. But I've really been motivated, especially after our trip to France with me and my son. I've been motivated to get back on the horse, get my French to a level where I can readily and easily express myself on a multitude of topics. So that's my goal for right now. And then once I do that, I will look into learning another language, because I don't want to just stop at 2. I want to go on and see how far I can go. I consume something daily in French, whether it be a podcast, whether it be some sort of show. I really, like, people ask me all the time, what do you recommend? How do you learn French? What do you think I should do? If you have gotten the basics down, go ahead and just start. Like, throw yourself in the deep end. Start watching content that you already like. So like for me, I like watching house tours. So I would start watching house tours in French. I would start watching stuff like daily vlogs in French. I would start watching like think pieces in French on topics that, you know, speak to me. And every single day I'm consuming something in French, which lately, y'all, I have been shocked and amazed, because after the episode or the content will go off, I realized I understood almost all of what these people were saying. Like, at first, it'll be hard, it'll be challenging, and you'll be like, I don't understand this, what am I doing? But just repetition, 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 it will sink in, and one day you'll look up and realize you can actually understand the things that are coming out of your speakers, and it'll be like an aha moment, it'll be like a miracle. But that's literally how it works. That's how babies learn languages. They hear things for years and years and years, and when they get 2 and 3, then they'll start slowly talking. They'll let out this thing, they'll let out this thing. And when you get enough input, eventually you'll be able to have that output. You'll be able to spit something out without even having to think about it. So that's what I would recommend. Just start consuming, start consuming. What's really been good is if you take a short video, something like 10 minutes, no longer than 10, 15 minutes long, because you don't want to tire your brain out too much. If you take one video of something that interests you in your target language that you want to learn, watch it on a loop. Keep watching it until you understand all of the video. You can go back, you can translate. Just when you get that video down by memory and you can play it and you understand all of it, you want to get to that point, then you want to go back and start shadowing the words. So every couple words or sentences, you'll stop it and you'll repeat. You'll try to get your pronunciation down and get it close as possible, and that'll help you with your speaking. So your comprehension is going to be on point, and then you work on your speaking, and it really does accelerate your language learning so much. So that's what I've been doing as well. And I just bought some books while I was in France too, so I can start reading more, because that's one thing I haven't been doing a lot lately is reading, and I plan to read those books aloud as much as I can, you know. And they're not easy books, they're regular novels, so it might take me some time to get through them, but I'm committed and I'm going to do it. So daily input of your target language. Also try to start doing a summary of your day in your target language. You can write it down in English or whatever your native language is, and then use some type of translator and get the translation, and then read the translation. So you get familiar with things that you would normally say, things that you would normally talk about in your target language. So, you know, those are my suggestions, but I can go further into that if y'all would like, just let me know. A couple of you wanted to know whether I plan to teach my babies French as well. My twins are 2 years old now, and I definitely plan to teach them French as well. I'm gonna get my older son to help with that. But I plan to do the same thing that I did with my oldest son, which is to put them into a French immersion school type of program when they turn 3. So again, I don't want them to learn French sounds or pronunciation from me, because I'm still working on my stuff. I want them to learn it from people actually from France. That's what will happen with the twins. So all 3 of my boys will be fluent in French. My oldest child, my daughter, when she was, I think she was around 10 years old when I started getting interested in taking on French as a second language. I asked her at the time if she wanted to join me in classes and stuff. And of course she was like, no, why would I want to do that? As most 10-year-olds would, you know, it probably seemed a little out of left field for her. Like, girl, what are you talking about? So I tried to bring her on board at the time, and she wasn't feeling it too much, which is fine. I didn't want to force anything on her, but that's another reason why I knew with any subsequent children that I would have to start early, so it wouldn't be as if it was a chore or it was something else on their plate. The earlier you start with kids, obviously the better, but you can start at any age. Just for me, that's how it worked out. Now, right now, what I'm doing to get them acclimated to the sounds, to get them used to, oh, these onions. These onions are like, burning my eyes, hold on. What I'm doing with my boys right now to get them used to the French language and French sounds is every now and then I will play French nursery rhymes and things. I will also, when we're in the car, I play French music, and my boys, they're already starting to sing along to the French music, which I think is so cool. So they are getting used to French without it feeling unusual, you know, like they're just vibing along, singing along, and they don't even realize, well, I don't know if they realize, they're babies. They can't verbalize how they think too much. But I don't think they realize that it's a completely different language. And so yeah, that's what I'm doing right now to get them their French intake from people that actually grew up speaking French and they're familiar with the sounds, but they will get more formal education in about a year when they turn 3. So that is our language learning story in a nutshell. I feel like I might be forgetting to say something about it, but of course, if you guys have any other questions, maybe some things I missed, I'm just going off the top of my head. If you have any other questions, leave them below. I can do more videos if you need me to, or just reply to your comments down there. But then I also wanted to talk about some logistical things. I got some questions from people like, how do you plan trips like this? How do you know where to stay? So basically, I love to plan trips. And to me, it's like the best part. I've never used a travel agent or a trip planner or anything like that. I always plan my own trips. I like to do that because I'm very particular about like the type of places that I stay, the things that I do. So basically what I do as far as lodging, it depends on the place I'm going to, what the purpose is. And so it depends on that, whether I want to stay in a hotel or whether I want to stay in like if I want to get an apartment rental. This time around, I wanted to get a rental because it was me and my son. We were sharing space and I didn't want to feel cramped up and cooped up. I didn't want it to feel so formal, especially with him. I wanted to feel like a home away from home type of thing. And so I knew for this trip that I wanted to do an apartment. Now, how to book an apartment, you could just go on any type of house rental site. I look at the reviews, I look at the pictures, and I just match it up. Does this seem like a place I would want to stay in? And as far as location, I really didn't know exactly what was around this apartment, but in Paris specifically, it's so easy to get around, like so easy to get around the whole city that I wasn't too concerned about where any apartment was located. But I did check the reviews and see what other people said. And a lot of people were like, oh, it's in a great location. The metro is right there. So things like that are like, okay, thumbs up, thumbs up. So I didn't take too long. I considered probably 5 different apartments and I just picked the one that I felt would match what we wanted the best based off the reviews and the pictures. And that's what I did and it worked out great. One thing I will say that was so clutch that I want to definitely highlight in this video is currency. If you can help it, do not exchange currency at those currency counters in the airport. I wanted to get 500 euros for the trip because there's been a couple times when I've traveled overseas and my card doesn't work for one reason or another and I'm stuck somewhere not able to pay. There was one time I was trying to buy something, it was a little pricey and my card got flagged for fraud and I'm like, no, it's not fraud, it's me, I'm trying to buy something. And it wouldn't work. And I was so far from the place that I was staying, like my hotel, I couldn't go back and call the card company and all that. It was like a whole thing. I didn't want to leave, come back and try to buy the item. I didn't know if it would still be there. It was like a mess, y'all. I was in a nasty, dirty phone booth trying to call my card company because my cell phone wasn't working too. And from then on, I knew I never wanted to be in that position again. So I always want to have at least some cash on me. If something comes up and my card's not working, I can use cash. So anyway, I wanted to get 500 euros for this trip. I felt like that would be a good amount of pocket money. I ordered 500 euros from my bank here in America. And usually it takes like a day or 2 business days for the money to come into your bank. So whatever bank you are using, go to your bank, order your currency in the place that you're going to if you want to have some pocket money, which I definitely recommend having. 500 euros at my bank, it cost me about 634 US dollars, okay? Now, when I went to Paris and I landed, I just wanted to check at those currency places and see how much they would charge. So I went up to the window and I'm like, hey, how much would 500 euros be in US dollars? How much would I have to pay to get 500 euros? They told me 800 US dollars. Crazy. That's a big stretch, okay? So get your foreign currency at your local bank before you go on your trip and thank me later. That's the first time I've done this. I've always just gone to those counters because I didn't realize how big the gap was of the fees. It's astronomical. And then another thing, y'all, whenever you're traveling abroad somewhere and the language is different, I cannot stress enough how good of a representation you will make if you learn just some basic phrases in the language of the place that you're going to. 4 simple things: hello, please, thank you, and do you speak English? Those 4 phrases will take you so far, I cannot even explain. Paris has like this reputation of the people being rude, unhelpful. I never have that experience anytime I go there, and I think one of the main reasons is because I make the effort to speak to them in their language. Me and my son were at this restaurant and I heard these like tourists come in, and the waiter, he went up to greet them. He saw them standing at the door and he went up with really good energy, right? I could feel it on him. And he was like, bonjour. Like he was really welcoming to them. And the guy looked at the waiter and said, hi. And so the waiter, in that moment, you could instantly feel his energy going down, 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 down. And the waiter was like, in English, he said, "Oh yes, English is better." And I was like, oh my goodness. That's the type of thing, like when you go to other places and you just have this, what is this entitlement that they need to speak to you in your language when you're going into their place. It rubs people the wrong way, y'all. So just be mindful of that. And maybe if you have gone to Paris and you've gone there and not bothered to say bonjour, s'il vous plaît, merci, maybe that might be a reason why people haven't been the nicest to you. I don't know, but definitely make the effort just to know those 4 basic things to say in the language of the place that you're going to. And then you'll see people bend over backwards because they love to see that you've just made a little bit of an effort to meet them halfway, you know? And then as far as getting around in Paris, there are ride shares. You can, order a car. We did that a couple times we were there, but the metro was our primary mode of transportation because it's just so easy to hop on, hop off, get here, get there in a matter of minutes. And we did kind of get turned around a little bit some of the times. And I'm like, I'm trying to find this street. Where is it? Where is it? Because sometimes that GPS thing on your phone, the little arrow be pointing here, and you're like, where am I supposed to turn? So anyway, a couple times that happened, but I wasn't too concerned about it because I can just hop on the metro and go somewhere else, Like, it's so easy to me to get around. So I wasn't that vigilant about writing down directions or things like that. I did screenshot before I left the apartment while I had good cell service and Wi-Fi. I did screenshot where I was supposed to go, so I could generally find my way even if I turned down the wrong street or something. And I have a familiarity now with the city, whereas though, like if I got lost, I wouldn't be upset about it. But if you're a person who you like to know where you are, you like to have your directions and not get lost, and you're using public transportation, definitely just have a basic idea of where things are situated and have all that information with you, written down or screenshotted in your phone so you can get around. But even in other places, in other countries, I be wandering. I just be going here, there, and everywhere. I feel like that is the point of travel. So I'm like a butterfly. I like to just fly in the wind, fly in the breeze, and if I get a little lost, I don't get too worried about it. But yeah, what was I trying to say? Just do your due diligence to your comfort level before you leave your hotel or your apartment, or you can get a driver, y'all. You can order a car. You can, get someone to drive you where you need to go. But I have all of my produce chopped. I have my carrots. I have my celery. I have my onion and garlic. So now we can put it into our slow cooker. Y'all, I just got a slow cooker. Hold on. I just got this new slow cooker. Isn't she a beaut? Look at that. I got a slow cooker, so long ago, as a gift when I started my first big girl job. I got it from my program director, and I haven't had one since then. So this one is really, it's just so aesthetically pleasing. So we're gonna put everything in here. Let me show y'all. All right, so I'm gonna put my lentils in here. Got my carrots, celery, chopped onion, fresh garlic. I'm gonna put in some vegetable broth. Then I'm gonna add some coriander and some cumin, a little salt and pepper. I'm also gonna add some soy sauce. Mix it up. And I'm gonna throw in 2 bay leaves. So that's gonna go for 2.5 hours. And then once I have 30 minutes left on the cook time, I'm gonna remove the bay leaves and then add in this can of fire roasted diced tomatoes. So that's for the last 30 minutes. And then once it's all done, stir it all up, mix it, taste it. You wanna see what it's tasting like, and then you want to add salt and pepper to your liking, and that's basically it. It comes out so good, so good and comforting, and it just makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. So I can't wait for it. I have 2 hours and 23 minutes left, but yeah. So let's take a look At the same time I added the tomatoes, I also put in 2 cups of kale because I just felt like I wanted some kale in my soup. And yeah, it just comes out so perfect. Just full of fresh vegetables. And let me get a spoon. This is like a no-fail recipe. Just throw a bunch of stuff in the pot, let it do its thing, and it comes out absolutely scrumptious. But yeah, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and toast me up some bread with this to have for my lunch. And again, if y'all have any other questions related to like language learning, language immersion, teaching your kids a foreign language, leave them in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and I will catch y'all on my next video. Bye, guys.